I keep telling my therapist that I feel like there are two different people, the Rana that I grew up and the Rana who is now. Sometimes history is a big reminder of what the truth looked like. Whatever the judgment was, I had to do the right thing and send a message that women should not tolerate crimes against other women. In the last 7-8 years, I've only been fighting cases and doing less journalism. Every time I do one big story, one case will be registered. By talking about literature, by talking about democracy, these are the ideas that keep us alive. And when the person opens news, he or she only watches like a press release of the government. He is not watching investigative journalism. It is, when I was a young child, I had polio. I used to be so scared. I would never talk. Also because, when you are born with a disability, I was born 900 grams. So I was born a premature child, and my parents thought that I would not survive. And I survived, and I got polio. And I was a very, very shy child. I was always scared of people. I was incredibly shy. So even passing my school exams was a big challenge, right? I felt like I'm going to fail, and I failed my class 12. I failed my class 12. So I think it is. I felt like I'm a failure. But and then the Bombay riots happened. Bombay anti-Muslim riots, and the mob came to our house, and we had to run, take refuge in the Sikh family's household. I think all these factors contributed to me feeling very scared, very shy. And then I went to Gujarat in 2002. I went as a relief worker. And that's when I felt like I cannot afford to be silent. And when you start speaking your truth and you start speaking for other people, I think I got this courage which I felt like was missing in my life. And I didn't want to be somebody people sympathize with. I wanted people to I wanted people to see me as a source of courage and inspiration. So I don't know how I became this person that I am. Even today when my therapist talks to me, I keep telling my therapist that I feel like there are two different people, the Rana that I grew up and the Rana who is now. And some days both Rana meet. And it's scary, but I think my handicap and my experiences made me somebody who could talk for other people. And when you start speaking for other people, you get the courage to stand up for them. So I don't think I'm a very brave person, but I do believe that I do believe that I have certain convictions and I want to remain true to them. I think when I started off with news channels, and then I realized I'm not cut out for television media. So I immediately went to, I think I joined Tehelka in 2007, 2008. And I think what Tehelka really gave me was a voice and an independent platform to do my journalism and to do stories which others were not doing. So I think it was very important for me to join Tehelka and to do the journalism that Tehelka was doing. And it was in 2010 that I got the call records of Amit Shah, who was then the Home Minister of Gujarat, and I published his call record, and then he was arrested. I remember we put a cover story called "Why is this man still free?" And till today that cover story is all over social media, the Amit Shah picture which says, "Why is this man still free?" And then I went undercover for 8 months with multiple cameras on my body, because I was determined to expose what happened during the Gujarat carnage, because my neighbors were survivors of the anti-Sikh riots in 1984, and I saw through them what injustice felt like, and I'd seen injustice from close quarters. And I think, it was very important for me to go undercover after the Amit Shah investigation, because I felt like the truth of the Gujarat riots, the Gujarat anti-Muslim carnage, the truth of the fake encounters in Gujarat, which has now become a nationwide phenomena. I think it was very important for me to cover that. So Maithili Tyagi was born, Maithili Tyagi is the person who I was when I went undercover, was born out of the need to explore the truth which the media had completely forgotten. And I think Maitri Tyagi will remain a big part of my life, and Gujarat Files will remain one of the most important works that I have done in my lifetime. And I feel like, you know, when generations come and when newer generations come, even when we are all dead and we are gone, that book will remain to tell the truth, even if even if the media is being silenced. Sometimes history is a big reminder of what the truth looked like. So what journalism I'm doing right now is not for the present day, it's for the future, when the next generations come and they will want to know what happened in the Modi era. So my journalism probably will be able to document what happened in the Modi era. You know, when I wrote Gujarat Files, for me it was it was not just a Gujarat issue. For me, it was an issue of justice and responsibility and injustice. But now when I look at what's happening in India, all over the country, Gujarat is now India, right? Everything that happened in Gujarat happened in Karnataka, happened in Uttar Pradesh, is happening in Assam right now. Yesterday, so many houses were demolished, journalists are being arrested. So I feel like it is unfortunate that what I did with Gujarat Files is now something that is a need of the hour for the entire country. But again, you know, some of us are writing for international platforms. Why isn't the Indian media doing enough? So I think that is the question that we need to ask. And it's unfortunate that what I saw in Gujarat and what I wrote in Gujarat Files is now a truth for the entire country. You know, whether it is mob violence, whether it is lynching of minorities, whether it is second-class citizens minorities being treated as second-class citizens, whether it is silencing of the free press, whether it is fake encounters, extrajudicial murders. I think it has become a pan-India phenomena, and that is something that should scare us. And I really feel independent journalists should take the momentum and do the journalism that this country requires. We are the world's largest democracy. We are the land of Gandhi. We are the land of Ambedkar, right? What did Gandhi and Ambedkar fight for? What did Maulana Azad fight for? They fought for education. They fought for a secular democracy. But when you see the people in power being allergic to the word secular, being allergic to the word democracy, I think that is what we are fighting against, which is precisely why the free press, when you're talking about what is happening with the election commission, right? When you have stalwarts like Amartya Sen being questioned in their house, he is one of our Nobel laureates. When our own citizens are being pushed into Bangladesh as Bangladeshi when they're actually Indian citizens, when the privileged hold power, when the capitalists are holding power in India, I think that investigative story is required, but unfortunately that story is not being done by the mainstream press, the big news channels. It is being done by independent media here and there. That independent media is not accessible to the everyday person. Everyday person goes home, watches news TV, and when the person opens news, he or she only watches like a press release of the government. He is not watching investigative journalism. He is or she is only watching what is coming on TV. So I think that for me, I remember the Manmohan Singh days. Every single day, the media would question him, you know, whether it was a 2G scam, whether it was the other scam or whatever scam. In present day India, those very scams are happening, but nobody wants to talk about it. You know, I remember this election ad where they said the women of this country will not forget for the atrocities against girl child, sexual harassment. Nowadays, 2 5-year-olds, last week there was a case of gang rape of two children, right? Why is the media not questioning the government? The biggest responsibility of the media is towards the people of the country, but now we are being responsible to the powerful. We are not being accountable. So I think investigative journalism is not happening. 2 or 3 independent portals are doing it, but that's not enough. In a country of 1.4 billion people, we need investigative journalism by every single news platform, and even that will not be enough. But unfortunately, it's not happening. And for me personally, as an investigative journalist, I feel sad at the state of affairs. I think for me, you know, a lot of people said, I think that I have to wait for the truth to come out. And at that point of time, the reason why I resigned is because I was in an important position. I was a senior editor. and I could not stay in an organization where the top editor is accused of sexual harassment. Uh, for me, it was honestly, it broke my heart to leave Tehelka, because Tehelka gave me my identity in many ways. It allowed me to do good journalism. I also give Tehelka so much. We all came together to build a good product. We all came together to do good journalism. And this was 2013 November, and next year Modi government was going to come to power. And I knew what was going to happen, because I knew if Mr. Modi was to come to power, the first attack would be on the mainstream media. So it was very heartbreaking for me to leave Tehelka, but the thing is, if I as a public voice do not stand up for the free press, and this happened, I left Tehelka 13 years ago. I was very young, in my early 20s, right? And I just felt like I was a known voice on social media, and people were looking at me to do the right thing. Whatever the judgment was, I had to do the right thing and send a message that women should not tolerate crimes against other women. And I think people spoke about Tehelka, but what we realized is that this crime, women do not feel secure, not just in newsrooms. They don't feel when they go out reporting. They don't feel safe. They don't, because women are not in positions of power. Because women, when I joined journalism, I was told to report on lifestyle, because women can only report on lifestyle. Women can only report on fashion. Women can only report on education. It was not visualized that women could be political journalists too. So I think it took a while, and for me, it was very, very heartbreaking to leave Tehelka, because I was leaving I was a part of a platform which gave women that voice to do good journalism. But at the same time, I could not stay in an organization where such a big charge was leveled against a top editor. So it became a moral choice that I had to leave, right? But my heart goes out to every single journalist in Tehelka who was doing such stellar work, including a lot of editors. Having said that, it's a very, very important question. Do women feel safe at the workplace? Look at all the abuse that women journalists get on social media, right? It's all sexist, it's all rape threats, it's all death threats. And if you're a woman journalist with a public voice, then you are threatened even more. So I think if you want good women journalists, then make sure that they are safe in this space, make sure they are heard, make sure they are in decision-making spaces, and also make sure that they are not the elite, they are not people who come from the elite rich spaces, but they also come from spaces which are not recognized. So more Muslim voices, more Dalit voices, more Christian voices, more tribal journalists. I think that is what we need, is the need of the hour. I think for me it's been very, very difficult to do journalism, because in the last 7-8 years, I've only been fighting cases and doing less journalism. Every time I do one big story, one case will be registered. Every time I do big story, ED. I thought ED and income tax were only for politicians. But now ED and income tax are used for journalists, right? My bank accounts are frozen, right? And every month I have to deal with some income tax, I go to Ghaziabad, I have defamation cases in Bombay, I have a case in Karnataka. So if somebody young is watching me, right, and she's like, and it's a woman journalist who's young, who's watching my career, who's watching the attacks against me, she will say, I don't want to do this. That is what the government is trying to do. It is trying to say that if you do journalism like her, you will meet the same fate as her. You know, we will give you the same punishment. So I think it is, whoever is doing good journalism right now is doing a very, very risky job, because, 2 months ago or 1 month ago, I was in news because allegedly some Lawrence Bishnoi person gave a death threat to me. As journalists, we should just be doing reporting. We should not be facing death threats. We should not be facing cases. So I think that is the new norm in the last 10 years, is that we are fighting more cases and doing less journalism. So by the time we come back home after fighting our case, we will be like, oh, we are too tired, I can't do this. Which is true. All your energy is taken away by the cases. How do you do your journalism? So I think we are all exhausted, but we're all still trying. And I hope the young journalists do not lose their optimism to do the right thing. And it's very important. And not look at what the prominent news anchors are doing on news channels. Look at what the other journalists are doing and not be disheartened. I think it's very important. I've come here to the Kerala Book Festival, and it's very, when I see book festivals, I'm very, very, it gives me hope, because if you have a generation reading books, reading newspapers, reading literature, and reading what happened in the past and then relating it with the present day, it is important then that, which means that person recognizes history. Anybody, fascism, authoritarian regimes prey on people who are not well read. So I think it gives me hope. Places like this give me hope, because we are talking about the free press. We are talking about democratic ideas. We are talking about democracy. We are talking about books. And I think that is what is going to keep a society healthy and alive. By talking about literature, by talking about democracy. These are the ideas that keep us alive. And it gives me hope when I saw this book festival and I saw like people attending, children attending, college students attending. It gives me hope that they are looking at us and they are watching good, they are watching and reading and consuming good literature. I think it gives me hope.